Advancing biotech, such as the human longevity biotech, requires knowing everything about the human anatomy. In this presentation, I go over the names of all the 650 skeletal muscles in the adult human body. For advancing biotech, using Wikipedia as the main reference. The knowledge on human skeletal muscles is also used in advancing humanoid robotics at Robocentric. The human body has 5 major muscle groups, which are head muscle group, neck muscle group, torso muscle group, upper limb muscle group, and lower limb muscle group. A quick advertisement before I continue on this topic. I am seeking accredited investors in my startup with an SEC Regulation D Rule 506C offering. If you're interested in investing in my startup as an accredited investor, voice call me or message me on Instagram to discuss investing in Robocentric. Visit robocentric.com/investors for more info on investing in Robocentric. Visit robocentric.com/about to learn more about Robocentric. Now back to the main content. Now, I have not had the time to check the pronunciations of these human body muscles, skeletal muscles. I'll go ahead and mispronounce a lot of human muscle names in this video, and then later on I'll check the pronunciations and get them right because I'm limited on time. I can't wait until I can get all the until I learn all the pronunciations of all the human skeletal muscles. So I suck at the first try in video in pronouncing the words of pronouncing the human skeletal muscle names, and then later on I'll get them all right. So I just go ahead and liberally mispronounce a lot of these 650 human skeletal muscle names. The head muscle group has forehead and eyelid muscles and extraocular muscles, ear muscles, nose muscles, mouth muscles, mastication muscles, tongue muscles, extrinsic tongue muscles and intrinsic tongue muscles, soft palate muscles and phalanx muscles and larynx muscles. The forehead and eyelid muscles are occipitofrontalis, frontalis, orbicularis, oculi, corrugator supercilii, and depressor supercilii. The extraocular muscles are levator palpebrae superioris, superior tarsal, Mueller's muscle, superior rectus muscle, inferior rectus muscle, medial rectus muscle, lateral rectus muscle, superior oblique muscle, and inferior oblique muscle. The ear muscles are temporoparietalis, auricularis anterior, auricularis superior, auricularis posterior, stapedius, and tensor tympani. The nose muscles are procerus muscle, depressor septi nasi, levator labii superioris, laci nasi, compressor naris, and dilator naris. Man, this is doing a lot for advancing biotech and humanoid robotics. A lot. I mean, it sounds like I'm saying like a slurs in Latin. The mouth muscles are levator anguli oris, caninus, depressor anguli oris, triangularis, levator labii superioris, depressor labii inferioris, mentalis, buccinator, orbicularis oris, risorius, major zygomatic muscle, and minor zygomatic muscle. The mastication muscles are masseter, temporalis, lateral pterygoid muscle, and medial pterygoid muscle. The extrinsic tongue muscles are genioglossus, hyoglossus, chondroglossus, styloglossus, and palatoglossus. The intrinsic tongue muscles are superior longitudinal, transversus, inferior longitudinal, and verticalis. The soft palate muscles are tensor veli, palatini, levator levi palatini, palatoglossus, palatopharyngeus, and palatine uvula. The pharynx muscles are stylopharyngeus, serpingopharyngeus, inferior pharyngeal muscle, middle pharyngeal muscle, and superior pharyngeal muscle. The larynx muscles are cricothyroid, artenoid, transverse and oblique, thyroartenoid, posterior cricoartenoid muscle, and lateral cricoartenoid muscle. The neck muscle group has clavicular muscles, suprahyoid hide muscles, infrahyoid muscles, and neck muscles, anterior neck muscles, lateral neck muscles, and posterior neck muscles. The clavicular muscles are platysma and sternocleidomastoid. Brutal. Yeah, it's a shame that I didn't have the time to actually check the pronunciations of these words before actually creating this video. But I can. I have a physical limit. My body has a physical limit. I have a limited amount of time, and if I wait for everything and try to get everything perfect, I never get to produce any videos. So produce and publish any videos. So I just have to keep on moving while being imperfect. So, but since I'm committed to advancing, making my own contributions to advancing biotech, multi-decade commitment. Over time, I'll eventually get these names right. Again, I studied electrical engineering and physics in college, and I wasn't even remotely interested in biotechnology. Then I eventually got interested in human longevity biotech and curing all the diseases in the human biotech, curing all the diseases in the human body. So eventually I decided I have to get into biotech and somehow give a shot at doing biotech business. So come hell or high water, whether I succeed or not commercially, I keep on doing my best to make my own contributions to advancing biotech. So here it goes. I don't have to get everything right on the first try. Right? So what counts is keeping working on improving so that I can eventually get a lot of things right over a long period of time. That's my strategy and approach. The suprahyoid or hyoid muscles are digastric, stylohyoid, mylohyoid, and geniohyoid. The infrahyoid muscles are sternohyoid, sternothyroid, and sternothyroid, and thyrohyoid, and omohyoid. These are Latin. I wasn't fully aware that all the human muscle names are in Latin. I knew some of those names were in Latin, but I didn't know all of them were in Latin. So they sound very foreign to English. The anterior neck muscles are longus cauda, longus capitis, rectus capitis anterior, and rectus capitis lateralis, and lateral neck muscles are anterior scalene muscle, medius scalene muscle, posterior scalene muscle, levator scapulae, rectus capitis lateralis, obliquus capitis superior and obliquus capitis inferior, and posterior neck muscles rectus capitis posterior minor, rectus capitis posterior major, semispinalis capitis, longissimus capitis, splenius capitis, obliquus capitis superior, and obliquus capitis inferior. In the first Dumb and Dumber movie with Jim Carrey, Jim Carrey's character and his blonde friend get into an expensive hotel in Aspen, Colorado, and they try to pronounce these words printed on newspaper, and they struggle greatly, and then still mispronounce the words. And I feel I'm doing precisely that right now. Again, I have to suck on the first try in order to become better and better, and I have to keep on learning, and I keep on improving to become better. That's how you learn in all things. Like how do babies work? By sucking at walking at first, and then messing up walking at first, and then they eventually walk extremely well. So the only way to do something well is to suck at it on the first try. That's my view and understanding. The torso muscle group has the abdomen muscles, the back muscles, the chest muscles, the pelvis muscles, and perineum muscles. The abdomen muscles are, here we go again, Latin. Rectus abdominis, external oblique, internal oblique, transversus abdominis, pyramidalis, and quadratus lumborum. The back muscles are erector spinae with iliocostalis, longissimus, and spinalis, latissimus dorsi, transverso spinalis with semispinalis thoracis dorsi, semispinalis cervicis coli, semispinalis capitis complexus, multifidus, and rotatoris, interspinalis, intertransversari, splenius captis, and splenius cervicis. Yeah, probably the reason why these human body muscle names are in Latin is probably the reason why these the human skeletal muscle names are in Latin is when they first started identifying human muscles back in during the Renaissance, and recording, documenting, and publishing human skeletal muscles during the Renaissance, it probably was done in Italy first, and across Europe back then. The language of choice, the so-called lingua franca, for communicating among the different European scholars was Latin. So the first specification of the human muscle names were probably done in Latin, and that probably stuck. And probably, my bet is that in every Western European nation, the muscle names are in Latin, probably, because it was first written in Latin and first communicated in Latin. It's my wild guess, but it's probably right. And as well, same for the human bone names. Wait, the human bone names aren't exactly Latin. I can't remember. Anyhow. The chest muscles are external intercostal muscles, internal intercostal muscles, innermost intercostal muscles, subcostalis, transversus thoracis, levatorius costarum, serratus posterior inferior muscle, serratus posterior superior muscle, and diaphragm. The pelvis muscles are coccygeus and levator ani, with the iliococcygeus muscle, pubococcygeus muscle, and puborectalis muscle. The perineal muscles are external anal sphincter, uh, internal anal sphincter, superficial perineal pouch muscles, transverse perineal muscles, bulbospongiosus muscle, and ischios cavernosus muscle, and deep perineal pouch muscles, transverse perineal muscles, and urethral sphincters. The upper limb muscle group has vertebral column muscles, thoracic wall muscles, shoulder muscles, arm muscles, anterior compartment arm muscles, and posterior compartment arm muscles, forearm muscles, superficial anterior compartment forearm muscles, deep anterior compartment forearm muscles, superficial posterior compartment forearm muscles, deep posterior compartment forearm muscles, hand muscles, lateral volar or thenar hand muscles, medial volar hand muscles, and intermediate hand muscles. Why struggle to learn? Because there's no way to achieve something consequential without learning. The vertebral column muscles are trapezius, latissimus dorsi, rhomboid, with rhomboid major, rhomboid minor, and levator scapulae. The thoracic wall muscles are pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, subclavius, and serratus anterior. The shoulder muscles are deltoid, teres major, and rotator cuff with supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. The anterior compartment arm muscles are coracobrachialis, biceps brachii, and brachialis. The posterior compartment arm muscles are triceps brachii and anconeus. The superficial anterior compartment forearm muscles are pronator teres, flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris, and flexor digitorum superficialis, and deep anterior compartment forearm muscles, pronator quadratus, flexor digitorum profundus, and flexor pollicis longus, and superficial posterior compartment forearm muscles are extensor digitorum, extensor digitiminimi, extensor carpi ulnaris, and mobile wad, with bronchial radialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, and extensor carpi radialis brevis. The deep posterior compartment forearm muscles are spinator, extensor indicis, and the anatomical snuff box boundary muscles, which are abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, and extensor pollicis longus. The lateral volar or thenar hand muscles are opponens pollicis, flexor pollicis brevis, abductor pollicis brevis, and abductor pollicis. The medial volar hand muscles are palmaris brevis and hypothenar muscles. Abductor digiti minimi, flexor digiti minimi brevis, and opponens digiti minimi. The intermediate hand muscles are lumbrical, dorsal, interosei, and palmar interosei. Yeah, the last muscle group. Here we go. The lower limb muscle group has iliac region muscles, gluteal muscles, thigh muscles, anterior compartment thigh muscles, posterior compartment hamstring thigh muscles, and medial compartment thigh muscles, leg muscles, anterior compartment leg muscles, superficial posterior compartment leg muscles, deep posterior compartment leg muscles, and lateral compartment leg muscles, and foot muscles, dorsal foot muscles, first layer plantar foot muscles, second layer plantar foot muscles, third layer plantar foot muscles, and fourth layer plantar foot muscles. The iliac region muscles are iliac psoas with psoas major, psoas minor, and iliacus. The gluteal muscles are tensor fasciae latae, and gluteal muscles or glute with gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, gluteus minimus. Lateral rotator group with piriformis, obturator externus, and superior gemellus with obturator internus, inferior gemellus, and quadratus femoris. Yeah, what a Latin fast here. Why? All right. The anterior, after these videos, over the next few weeks, if not a couple of weeks, I'll check all the pronunciations and I'll learn these pronunciations absolutely right. The anterior compartment thigh muscles are articularis genus, sartorius, quadriceps femoris with rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, and vastus medialis. The posterior compartment hamstring thigh muscles are biceps femoris, tendinosus, and semimembranosus. The medial compartment thigh muscles are abductor muscles of the hip with gracilis, pectineus, abductor brevis, abductor longus, and abductor magnus. The anterior compartment leg muscles are tibialis anterior, extensor hallucis longus, extensor digitorum longus, and fibularis tertius. The superficial posterior compartment leg muscles are triceps surae, or with gastrocnemius and soleus, and plantaris. The deep posterior compartment leg muscles are popliteus and tarsotonal muscles, flexor hallucis longus, flexor digitorum longus, and tibialis posterior. The lateral compartment leg muscles are fibularis longus and fibularis brevis. The dorsal foot muscles are extensor digitorum brevis, extensor hallucis brevis, and dorsal interosei of foot. The first layer plantar foot muscles are abductor hallucis, flexor digitorum brevis, and abductor digiti minimi. The second layer plantar foot muscles are quadratus plantae and lumbricans, and third layer plantar foot muscles are flexor hallucis brevis, abductor hallucis, and flexor digiti minimi brevis. The fourth layer plantar foot muscles are plantar interossae and dorsal interossae. Wow. Yeah, I definitely check the pronunciations and I get the absolutely right pronunciations. And over the next years and decades, I do a lot of research on human muscles, and I definitely do a lot of research on every piece of human muscle. So this is just a small beginning, not a big deal if I mispronounce some muscle names in the total scheme of things, because there's so much more to do and so much more I will do. All right. So I'm currently working on completing patenting and launching my visual AI and robotics software product, which may take a few years or a couple of years at the minimum to complete. Apply for patent and launch. I don't have any accredited investor willing to invest in my startup yet. I'm currently working on self-funding my startup while completing my AI and robotics software product. I am seeking accredited investors in my startup with an SEC Regulation D Rule 506C offering, which has a share or stock resale restriction imposed by SEC. If you are interested in investing in my startup as an accredited investor, voice call me or message me on Instagram to discuss investing in Robocentric. Visit robocentric.com/investors for more info on investing in Robocentric. Visit robocentric.com/about to learn more about Robocentric. For more info on my plans for advancing AI, robotics, biotech, and nuclear fusion tech, check out my books at robocentric.com/checkout, Amazon, Apple Books, or major online audiobook retailers.